Good morning and welcome to the Daily Cyber Briefing for Friday, the 29th of November. I'm Stephen Ridgway. So, first of all, a little bit of a pat on the back to our own team. So, well done to that security company in Pocket Seam and our SOC for winning the best MSP at the Real Cyber Awards last night. So I wasn't there, obviously, so it was a very nice thing to wake up to Eliza telling me uh, that we had won it and why hadn't I been following it all night whilst they were posting stuff on social media. Well, okay, yeah, well done, team. So if you want to talk to an award-winning MSP, talk to us. Oh dear, that's so cheesy. Anyway, look, well done, guys. Right. On real thing, well, really much more important things. Over 24 flaws have been identified in the Avantec industrial Wi-Fi access points. Recommendation is to patch ASAP. So actually, when they say over 24 flaws, they then say nearly 24 flaws, and then later on say it's 20. So let's call it 20. Flaws have been identified, 6 of which have been deemed critical, which would allow an attacker to obtain persistent access to internal resources by implanting a backdoor. Would also allow for denial of service and could repurpose infected endpoints as Linux workstations to enable lateral movement and further network penetration. Of those 6 flaws, 5 of them with CVSS scores of 9.8, so properly serious, as in critically serious, relate to improper neutralization of special elements used in operating system commands, while the last one of the 6, which again still has a CVSS score of 9.8, is related to missing authentication for critical functions. So those CVEs are a block of CVEs from 2024 50370 through to 50375. The patches patches are available for these, and depending on which device you've got, they've got some horrible naming schemes for their devices. But if you've got EKI 6333AC slash or dash 2Gs or 2Ds, you need to be aiming for firmware 1.6.5. If you have got an EKI 6333AC 1GPO, you need to be aiming for firmware version 1.2.2. Pretty serious stuff. Good article in the Hacker News, including an over-the-air attack diagram, which kind of explains how the exploits are enacted. But seeing as these are industrial Wi-Fi access points, they are undoubtedly found in all sorts of places that you don't want to be compromised. No indication of exploits at the moment, as far as I can see. However, industrial control systems are very much targets for the let's be ready to create disruption at will approach of some, especially nation states. So if you are working in those environments and you may have Advantech industrial Wi-Fi access points around your environment, definitely check and definitely schedule in patches ASAP. Okay, I came across another instance of a malicious Python package. In this case, again, as hosted on PyPI, as these things often are. That's not a damning indictment of using package repositories. It's just the reality of the fact that um, it, there are so many packages that you will inevitably find people get to sneak malicious stuff in there. This particular package is dubbed, I don't know how you pronounce this, but it's spelled AIOCPA, AOCPA, maybe. It is engineered to steal cryptocurrency wallet data. It is posing as a legitimate crypto client tool, but in the background is secretly exfiltrating sensitive information to a Telegram bot. The package was discovered by Reversing Lab researchers. Well done to them. And it became apparent around November the 21st that this package was out there and had evaded traditional security checks by publishing authentic looking updates to an initially benign tool. So, put that in context. There's a lot of work done in all package repositories to try to filter out attempts to upload malicious packages or malicious software in the package repository. No matter how much we might groan about these things, the people running these repositories are actually not, they're not doing a bad job when you think of how many millions of packages there are out there and how many millions of things get submitted every day to be uploaded. Vast majority of malicious stuff does get caught. However, one way to get around that is to upload a legitimate package that doesn't have to be a particularly good package. It just has to do something legitimate, and it has to have no malware in it. So upload a legitimate package. It then goes through the more robust end of testing because it's a new package being introduced. Later, the checks around updates and patches to that package may be permitted without such rigorous checks being imposed. So the efforts put on making sure that malicious packages are not introduced there. If you've got a legitimate package and you then patch it to make it malicious, that is potentially a way to circumvent controls within the package repositories. Can't really blame the repository owners for this. They've got to prioritize things one way or another, and I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but it's just a fact that's where these things are. So it does look like this is what's happened with this particular package. So a legitimate package was uploaded to the Python repository, which was then later patched to be malicious and therefore evaded some controls. The malicious content was base64 encoded and zlib compressed. Now that isn't going to stop a determined reverse engineer. It might stop certain automated testing from spotting what's going on. Anyway, look, the moral of the story is, firstly, if you've been using this particular package, be aware it's probably drained your crypto wallet, but you'd know about that anyway. The bigger picture is, firstly, do stick to packages from reputable package repositories. Example in case is this: when things do go wrong, at least there's a fair chance that somebody will do something about it. If you're using some dodgy package repository somewhere, um, you, the likelihood that people are looking or caring or doing anything about it, if there's malicious software being hosted there, is much less. So stick to the ones that are at least trying to help protect you. And secondly, don't rely on the fact that you have taken packages from a reputable source as meaning that they are de facto secure. Make sure that you've got a layered security approach to testing these things, so that hopefully, if you do inadvertently download, install, or use packages that are turn out to be malicious, you may catch them before they do too much damage. Okay, finally from me today, the Tor project. So this is a call to action for all of us that are concerned about privacy, freedom of speech, nasty governments, targeting journalists, human rights people. I know, dirty word at the moment, but in some parts of the world there genuinely are human rights issues. Unlike in Europe, it doesn't have human rights issues, despite what the lawyers might say. There's my political rant for the day. Anyway, there is increasing censorship in Russia, and Tor, the maintainers of the Tor network, are currently calling for 200 more web tunnel bridges to be deployed as soon as possible, in order to buy them some time to look at how they can deal with some of the methods by which the Russian authorities are getting those to block Tor traffic. So just for clarity, traditional Tor uses specific protocols which are identifiable if you know what to look for. So OBS4 connections and Snowflake and things are identifiable. As from March this year, there was an introduction of a new way of encrypting and transiting the traffic across a Tor network using SSL or TLS and HTTPS traffic. So basically, it's a hide in plain sight approach. Now, that's all well and good, so long as your telco doesn't then spot that your bridges are involved in this and goes after them. It's a bit of a whack-a-mole game for them. However, you need to have enough moles popping up all over the place in order for it to work. It takes a lot longer for the developers associated with Tor or anything else, to be completely honest, to identify what the new blocks are and engineer ways around them. So web tunnel bridges are a very important mitigation, whilst more robust fixes are found for some of these things. The requirements for being participated are one web tunnel bridge per IPv4 subdomain or distinct domains. You need a valid email for confirmation. You've got to commit to keeping the bridge running for at least 1 year and ensure 24/7 uptime, but reboots for updates are permitted. Bridges must stay functional during the campaign, and there is a specific telco that they want you to avoid or not to host with. They don't want you hosting with Hertzner. I don't know anything about Hertzner, but I'm going to go look them up now. expected network traffic will be in the region of a terabyte a month of bandwidth. And if you are interested, you can email front desk at torproject.org with details, and they will assess whether you are in a position to be able to help them out. If you are, I think they're going to give you a t-shirt. And knowing how motivated we all are by swag, I would expect all of you now to be fighting for the t-shirts and helping Tor out in the meantime. So if you are in a position to help, I would thoroughly recommend that you do get involved in this, because you are helping fight for the freedoms that we all very much value. So that is all from me for today. Hope you've had a good week. Hope you have a good weekend, and I'll speak to you again on Monday morning.